So now we actually modified the entry meta header and everything that's in there and changed a bit around. Let's go and move on to the actual content of the post. As you can see here in the Hello World example, we have the content here is just a single line, and then we have the post navigation, and then we have the comment, and then after the comment we have the search, and then we have a whole lot here in the sidebar. So these widgets are placed in sidebar, but right now the sidebar is just in the bottom and it takes up a whole lot of time and scrolling. So what we're going to do now is that we're actually going to take the sidebar and put it here up on the right side of the content, so it looks really nice. So what we're going to do for this video, we're going to use the files, so have them open in code editor. It's the content.php, the template functions.php, and the single.php. Now at first, if we look at the content, here we're just having everything. And again, we need to make sure here that we have the entry content, where it actually has all of the content that we need. But how we're going to do this is that first of all, in our website, we're going to make sure that the WordPress actually detects whether or not it has a sidebar. Of course, it would be unnecessary to just have blank space. So what we're going to do is that we're going to inspect. And if you go down here, we're going to find the body of it all here. And it has a lot of classes right now, but what we're going to do is that we're going to have a conditional statement saying if there's a sidebar, it should add a class called has sidebar. So we're going to do this in our code editor, and we are going to the template functions.php. As you can see here, it kind of already has that going on, but we're going to help it a little further along. So this adds a class of no sidebar when there is no sidebar present. And that's really good. That's actually the first part of our code. But what we're going to do is just add a bit more. So it's actually also going to add a class if it has a sidebar. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to say if So what we're going to do here is say if, and we're going to take the no away because we first wanted to detect if there's an active sidebar 1. And then here we are going to say it should, it's going to copy here, it should have this, the classes, but it should be the class has sidebar. And if it doesn't, we should say else. It's going to do, oh, let's do this correctly, else it is going to do this. Of course, I need to close everything up nicely, but I did wrong. So we're going to do here, we're going to close up everything nicely and make sure everything is as it is. So if we save here, go back to the website and maybe just do a little refresh, we should down in the inspect and in the body find the has sidebar class now. So that's first step, and that's really good. So now we can actually modify things if a post has a sidebar. Good. So now if we look in the file called single.php, we can see that the sidebar is here right at the very bottom of everything, and that's not what we want because we want the sidebar to be next to the content. So what we'll do now, because we're going to make so many changes, is that we're actually going to make a new file. So in our files here, we are going to the same folder as the template parts because that is what we're going to change. So go here and we go to the template part down at the bottom. What we're going to do is that we're actually going to copy the content.php because that's our base we're going to work on. So if you say edit and we say copy, and we're actually going to paste it right inside the same folder. And then we're going to, of course, name it something else because we're not going to name it copy. So if we go here and we say edit, rename, we're going to call it content single because it is the content that we're going to use for our single page. So next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go back to single.php because now in the function it says get template part and the template part in content and to get post type. But that's not what we're going to do because we're actually going to say that it's the single one it's going to get. So if you delete this, put in a string and we say single and save, because now we'll make sure that when it's a single page, it will go into the get template part, the template part and the content, but the content file is going to take is the new one we just called single. If we save this, go back to our Chrome here and refresh, you should go here up in template part, and we're going to see that it is this one. It is the content single.php, so we're just making sure that the path that we're going to take is the template that's included here. So what we're going to do now is that we're actually going to work with our content-single.php file. What we're going to do is that we're going to take some elements from the single.php file and put them into our content single.php file, so that we'll actually customize it so that the single structure will be as we want it to be with the sidebar. So first we're going to single.php, and here we get the sidebar function from the very bottom. And we're going to copy it into a content single.php, and we're going to go to the bottom here by the footer, and we're actually going to open in between the end footer tag and the end article tag and make new PHP tags. And here we're going to paste our function and save it. So now going back to our website in the hello world and refresh. So after we put in the sidebar, we can see that a lot of things has changed in our layout and our structure. Now we still have our header up here that is fixed, and we have our content, but now our sidebar gets above our comments and our post navigation here. So what we're going to do is we're going to change back the correct order. So in our code editor, in our single.php file, we need to take the post navigation and the comments and the end here and copy. And in our content single, we're just going to make new PHP tags, and we're going to put it above the sidebar so that we have everything we need and it's in the right order. So here, open tags and paste it. Oh, I'm just got a bit too much here, sorry. And if, and save. Go back to the website and refresh. Oh, and scroll on top, sorry. Here we can see that now we have our header, we have our content, post navigation, and our comments, and we still have our sidebar. Now this might look like our starting point, but this is actually where things are going to get interesting when we start to put things together, and then it's all going to be as it is. Of course, sorry, you need to notice here is the same, so we need to cut it from the first content. So let's go back in our code editor, our single, and just going to delete this out. And I think double, we should also do that with the sidebar. Sorry, I forgot to do that. And save, go back, Chrome, refresh. And now we have everything here, and we have our comments and our content. And nothing is doubled. So now we're ready for the next part. Great. So now they have everything in the right order. Now all we actually need to do is gather everything together. So in our code editor, we're going to go to content single.php, and what we need now is actually to wrap everything up so it's in the same section. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take underneath the post thumbnail function, we're going to make a new section, and let's just give it a class for good measure, and let's call it post content, so it's everything that's in the post. And close it, and the end section tag should be cut out and put down right before the sidebar, because of course we want everything else, but the section of the sidebar, the section of the content is one part of the content, and then the sidebar is another part of the content. So we kind of split those up. Now we save it, go back to our website, and basically nothing here has actually changed. As you can see, everything is still the same. But the next step we're going to do is do a lot of styling so that things will actually fall into place. So now that we put everything together, it's time that we actually apply some styling so you can see how the content works with having the content on the left and having the sidebar on the right. So for this, we provide you a snippet, and with this snippet, you can just go in and apply it, but just a little note, because we did a bit of different with the structure of it. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to go into files, and in the SAS file and in the layout one, we currently have 3 SAS files. These are files that we technically don't use, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to delete them. I know it's a bit scary, but don't worry, it's all going to work out. So just take these, mark them, and delete them right away. I'm just going to say yes, delete. Okay, so of course there's still going to be some styling. So in the folder, you're going to create a new file, and we're going to call that global.scss. This is because this will be the global layout that we're going to use. So open this file, and right in here you can go in and paste the snippet that we provided for you and save all of this. Now, of course, because we're in a new file, we actually need to apply this style sheet somewhere, so it's not just a SAS file floating around. So if you go into Files and you go into Site and you go into the Site CSS in here, currently we have the header, the post and pages, and the comments, and you can see up top we actually have some uncommented ones, but we're gonna delete those. And here we're just gonna borrow a bit here and copy so everything will look the same. And in header we're just going to write global layout, and we take it from the layout one, layout file, sorry, the layout folder, and then we call it global. And if we say save, now go back to your website, refresh, and magic simply happened. Now a lot happened here, and of course if you're not really sure about how to work with Flexbox, I suggest you go and research it because it's a great tool, especially because with CSS and everything it makes it easier, but let's go through it quickly. At first we just have the side content where we just like to give it a bit of a margin and a bit of a pattern, because it is just nice that, you know, you have everything so it actually looks like here we have some space in between and it's not all crowded. Then we have some of the single posts here where we target specific things. When you inspect the page, you can see it. We suggest that you really do look into Flexbox because this is what is actually going to happen. A lot of display flex, so it'll be next to each other, we wrap it, and then we have it to grow to be 100%, and we have the direction to be row reverse. There's a lot of things here and a lot of things you can look up. We also use Flex in the menu. I know that Jessica did. It's a really great tool, and read it up because it is something that's really useful. But as you can see here, the content, we now have that. We have the content and everything. Yeah, well, of course, you have the header first, then we have the content here, and we have the sidebar on our right, and we have our comments. Of course, then you can change which widgets you want, so it's still not just a long page, but definitely look into Flexbox, and yeah, use it for next time.